Hello, hello. Welcome to Reading Tech podcast that comes out every first Saturday of the month, the show that explores the interaction of technology and education. I'm your host, Mark Wilson, and in today's episode, we are diving into an incredible, timely, and essential topic, the role of technology in education. In our modern era, technology is transforming nearly every aspect of our lives, and education is no exception. For interactive digital classroom to AI-based learning tools, technology is revolutionizing the way we teach, learn, and interact. This topic is not just about exploring the new gadget or software. It's about understanding how these innovations are making education more accessible, engaging, and personalized than ever before. It's about discussing how teachers and students alike are navigating this digital education landscape, the opportunities and challenges it presents, and what it means for the future of education. But it's not just about that. It's also about acknowledging and addressing the gaps that everybody has equal access to these technologies, which lead to disparities in learning experiences and outcomes. We will be touching on this critical issue of the digital divide and discussing how it can be bridged. Today's conversation will be both a celebration of progress and exploration of what still needs to be done. So, whether you are an educator, a student, a parent, or just someone interested in the future of education, this episode promises to offer valuable insights and stimulate through provoking discussion. Not to waste much of your time, let us dive and explore how technology is reshaping education. With me here today, I have some great people. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to this podcast. I do have with me uh, Mr. Percival Toze Gono, founder of Rethink Tech. I also have with me our lone female here, Sister Grace KD Zanwe, member of Rethink Tech. And of course, I have our dear brother, Mr. Willard Johnson, member of Rethink Tech. Gentlemen, again, you are welcome to this podcast. It is good having you.
Thank you.
I want to first start with Sister Grace. Sister Grace, can you just introduce yourself? Let our audience know who you are. I think you are muted, Sister Grace. Yeah, go ahead. You are muted again.
Are you getting me? Hi.
Yes, we are getting you now.
So I'm Grace. I'm Grace KD Solim, a student studying civil engineering at Stella Maris Polytechnic University, and I'm very much interested in IT or ICT.
That's great. Good to have you, Sister Grace. And I understand you are a member of Rethink Tech, correct?
Yes.
Great, great. Good to have you. Quickly, I want to run to my dear brother over here, Mr. Willard Johnson. Very smart and innovative young man. It is always a pleasure to have you, Mr. Johnson. Can you just introduce yourself for our audience to hear you?
Thank you so much. I'm Blair Johnson from West Africa, Liberia. I'm a member of Written Tech, and I'm excited to be a part of today's show. I'm a solo enthusiast and a passionate learner. So today, I see as a privilege being on the show and being a part of Written Liberia.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Like I said, it's always good to have you by our side. And we want to quickly turn to Mr. Tozi Gono. Mr. Gono, you are welcome to the show. Can you just introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Brother Mike. It's a pleasure being here, and I'm excited to be here. Well, I'm Perceiver Toze Gono. I might go on Facebook by Yon Toze. So, but I'm into IT, been in IT for a while, and I currently work in the IT space, ICT space, and we're passionate about ICT and education. That's why we are here just to bring light onto the issues concerning ICT in our homeland, Liberia to be specific, and to see how we can help to bridge that gap. So, yep, I'm Perceiver Toze Gono, currently working in ICT.
Thank you, Mr. Gono. Mr. Gono, I understand that you are the founder of Rethink Tech, correct?
Yes, I'm one of the founders of Rethink Tech.
All right. Can you tell why Rethink Tech? Why was in your mind? How did you come about with this whole idea of Rethink Tech?
Well, it's been a long process. It's been a long, drawn-out process and vision that's been I've been passionate about for a very long time, but haven't been able to bring it to fruition. But by the grace of God, we were able to launch that sometime ago last year. We are passionate. I am passionate about technology and ICT, and I'm also passionate about education. I'm also passionate about youth. So when those three things kind of interconnect and they come together, then you find a space and you find a means that you can be of help to the young people, our country, and our society, just to be able to bridge the gap. Looking at where we've been, our nation, Liberia, is kind of far behind when it comes to ICT and technology. So with that in my mind, and my background in ICT and my love and passion for ICT and my love and passion for education, we thought it wise to launch this organization to be able to help in bridging that gap that exists in our society when it comes to ICT. So henceforth, we have Written Tech, which was birthed last year, and here we are today on our podcast and just spreading the message about ICT and how we can all get involved and what we can do to bridge that digital divide that exists.
Thank you, Mr. Gono. You made a really critical point here. Bridging the digital divide. I'll come to that. I'll come to that. I'll come back to you on that. But I want to go to Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, I know you are part of Rethink Tech because obviously nowadays technology is not trending. We talk about trending issue. We talk about politics, right? People using the digital space to propagate politics. What drew you close to Rethink Tech to be part of this organization? What actually inspire you? Because you are a brilliant man. I sat with you. I've interacted with you. You could be one of those politicians out there, discussing politics. Why Rethink Tech? What drew you to Rethink Tech?
Thank you very much. It's a good question. Written Tech is a non-for-profit organization, and its focus is bridging the digital divide. By the way, Liberia is a country in West Africa that have serious challenge when it comes to understanding what technology is, and what Written Tech seeks to do is to provide the space, the education for young people, for policymakers to understand the importance of ICT and digital technology. So being a part of this space, I think is I'm also passionate about technology and the way it influence country and influence people. So I see Retail Tech as an opportunity where we can give back to country, where we can help communities understand the importance of digital technology and how it is revolutionizing things today. So written tech is that space where I I think I'm excited and I'm passionate about what and you guys are doing, and I know the young people are going to benefit from it greatly. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Just before I come to you, Sister Grace, Miss Godno,
Yes.
I overheard you, passionate talking about, bridging the digital divide and looking at reading tech. Um, you also made mention that it was breath last year. So, can you tell me what is your footprint in the society in Liberia? What is your footprint as of now? Rethink Tech.
All right. As of as of now, since last year we launched our first event. When we launched, we had our first ever ICT conference for high school students. I believe it's the first ever in Liberia. That was held in San Quentin City in Nimba County. It was held around the 29th of March of last year, and it was successful. We had hundreds of students from across all high schools and junior high schools with their teachers and professors all attending that conference. It was a success. And since then, we've been able to forge a partnership with a local nonprofit group on the ground, the Youth Development Center, and we are working with them currently to have a community ICT lab that will be beneficial to the community, and that the people of San Nicola and its environs can benefit from that. And it'll be catering to the students, the teachers, and just the general public who we believe need to take advantage of that facility that we are providing out there.
Great, 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 great. Good to know that. Good to know that. Sister Grace, you being a lone female here, I mean, it is like I always say, it is very unpopular in our society, right, to see a female amongst the guys in trying to push technology. What did you see in technology that you think will help play a major role in the development of our society? Because obviously we got issues if it comes to technology. But you as a female, because I believe you guys can see more than us. What have you seen? What really what is the innovation? What motivates you to be part of this whole rethink day?
Thank you so much. I see technology as our life. It is life. It is life itself that no matter our various or field or studies in life, our profession, we cannot do anything without IT. So I see it from that point of life. It is the source of life. So if I must survive in this present time, I must be part of it. And I should come in to encourage other females to see the need to be part of it.
Wow. Thank you, Sister Grace. I see one of our audience here today, Mr. Smith. He's trying to connect, but we will continue once he's settled in. We'll come back to him. Now, let us. I want us to dive into our topics for today: the evolution of technology in education. Right. As we begin our deep dive into technology role in education, it is essential for us to understand its evolution. Obviously, if you were to rewind the clock just a few decades, we will find that technology presence in education was, for the most part, limited to calculator, overhead projectors, and perhaps computer labs for basic coding or typing license. Well, the trend of the century, however, unheard in a new era. The internet became, mainstream, and along with it came a new opportunity for learning. The digital classroom began to surface, and resources previously confined to physical textbooks and libraries were now accessible online. Websites like King Academy, Coursera spring up, offering learning the opportunity to access world-class education right
Sai
from
checking.
from their homes.
Not the Wi-Fi, the internet. Not the. I think not the ring.
Can
I
you
think
hear
the
me?
phone.
Yeah, we hear you, bro, Mike.
Sure.
Yeah, but
I
I'm
think
speaking about the both talking the book. Can say?
can we mute Brother Smith for a minute?
I'm trying to, but he needs to mute and stuff. I can't mute him.
Okay.
I think that's what the internet was saying. That's down.
All right. So, as I was saying, I mean, these are the things that we found. Then came the advent of digital tools and platforms like Google Classrooms, which revolutionized how teachers manage their classes. Interactive whiteboards replaced traditional chalkboards, and tablet became common teaching aids. Even seemingly simple technology like email radically changed the way teachers and students communicate. So that's just the revolution of or the evolution of technology in education, which is our topic for today. With that being said, Mr. Johnson, I want to come to you. Where do you see Liberia today in the evolution of technology in education? Talking about, you know, the role that technology is playing in education. We, I mean, go many places today, you will not find the traditional blackboard with chalk and all of that, right? Uh, where do you see how is Liberia fitting within this space of the evolution? Everything is now changing. We talk about evolution is where everything is now changing. We are not, going by the same old way centuries back. How is Liberia fitting into this space?
Thank you very much. As we look at this key topic, understanding the role of technology in education, firstly, today's technology plays a pivotal role in education. Okay, it empowers learning for the future. The role of
Technology
technology
also
in education
enhances the accessibility and
firstly, the role of
today's
technology in education.
technology plays a
Hello?
pivotal role in education. Okay,
It
Mr.
empowers
Johnson,
learning for the
we are
future.
getting a we are getting a
technology
feedback from
also
you.
enhances the
So,
accessibility and
Mr. Johnson,
The role of
we are getting
technology in education.
we are getting
Hello?
feedback from you. If you have two devices on, you gotta
Mr.
turn one
Johnson,
off.
we are
Hello?
getting a feedback
From you. So,
Am I good?
Mr. Johnson,
Yeah.
we are getting we are getting feedback from you.
Hello?
If you have two devices on, you gotta turn one off.
Yeah, I got.
You good?
Am I good?
Yeah.
All right.
Am I
So,
good?
so like I was saying,
Yeah.
hello,
Yeah.
hello.
Go on. Go on. We hear you.
Okay, so Sarah, you asked about how Liberia come in as we look at the involvement of technology. Basically, as we all know, Liberia is still at the ladder. There are several challenges, but over time, few things have happened. Like if you look at the educational sector, like I said in our last podcast, yesteryears it was difficult for students at the University of Liberia to do basic things like registration. When they employ technology where they move onto a digital platform, it make it easy for students to sit in the comfort of their home and then register their courses. But before it was a tedious process. So with with technology, what it does is it creates a room for accessibility. Learning become accessible, learning become fun, learning become evolving, and more besides, you learn at your own pace. So for Liberia's own role, we are still at the bottom. There's so much to be done from the level of government, policymaker, community leaders, not for profit. There's so much to be done. I think we still at the bottom. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Sister Grace, I want to come to you. Our brother just talked about Liberia. We still at the bottom. That is, there are, still challenges if it comes to technology. There are few issues. We still way behind, honestly, because even when we talk about progress that we've made, we're still behind in making those progress. Can you just tell us what are some of the challenges that Liberia as a country face with? When I say Liberia, I'm not talking about just the governmental infrastructure because technology is not restricted to government. But we talk about technology where we want to make technology, accessible to everybody. That's what I'm talking about. So, where are some of the places that we are lacking in Liberia? Liberia as a country, what are some of the places that you observe or that you've seen that we are lacking as compared to other countries around us? I think you are muted. We're not hearing you, sis Grace.
Are you getting me? Hi.
Yeah, we're hearing you now.
Hello. Okay.
We are hearing you now.
Some of the challenges faced in our country today, one could be our mindset. We don't want to
Okay.
change our mindset. We don't want to move along with what is trending, what is going on around us. We find it difficult to change our mindset, to adapt to the new world, the new system, the new way of doing things. So we'll have a computer, we'll have to write assignment, take it to the cafe to be typed and printed for them. Whereas you can really use your smartphone, you use Word and other documents to do your own work, but you prefer going back to the cafe like before. People will have emails and cannot make use of it. It is all just surrounding our mindset. We don't see this ICT to be our life, to be something that we should go into, we should flow with it. We don't see it to be something that we cannot survive with. And I can tell every Liberian for sure that this life is a cycle. This whole ICT stuff, it is closing. If we don't fit in, if we don't put ourselves into it now, it will be different thing for us tomorrow. So the major challenge is actually with our mind. We don't want to change our way of thinking, to adapt, to embrace, to maximize ICT.
Thank you. You struck a really relevant point. Changing our mindsets. Um, I think I think this is where we think tech comes in, right? Because in order to change your mindset, uh, you got to see or know something to be able to change your mindset. You will not. I don't think somebody will just be sleeping awake and then they change their mindset. Most especially when it comes to IT, uh,
Right.
people have to introduce something to convince you to change your mindset. Because here is Mark Wilson that was born all the way behind Mutual, not even knowing anything about calculator. And my mindset will not change from even calculator to going to a laptop. Obviously, something have to be introduced. I guess this is where rethink tech steps in for us to introduce or talk about the importance of even things that are around us, right? In Liberia today, there are people with smartphones. But what do they use the smartphones for? Just to browse on Facebook, but you can use that smartphone for so many things. But are they educated to those things? Do they have the know-how to even go about doing these things? I bet that's why Rethink Tech is kind of jumping in the space to bridge the divide. Mr. Bono, I want to come to you, sir.
Thank you.
Looking at Liberia, do you think that we do have the infrastructure to help propagate the uses of technology? Do you think we have the capability? Are we doing well? Like those that are supposed to provide the infrastructure to help how to propagate or expose people to the use of technology. Are we there yet?
We thank you very much, Brother Mac. That's a very great question, and it's a very great and kind of stabbing question for a lot of countries in the developing world who are struggling to make technology accessible to their people and their communities. And I think one of the greatest challenges that we all face in developing country is the question of infrastructure, which for us to have access to any technology, there must be the infrastructure. And our cell phone we use today, we can have access to cell phone all in our interiors and villages because we have cell phone towers all over the place. I remember when cell phone first came, it was only in Morovia, and they extended to Kakata, and then Ganta, and then it started to spread to other places because the infrastructure to be able to broadcast the frequency for communication was established in different geographic locations within Liberia. That's how we have cell phone prevalence in the entire country today. At least people can stay in the interior, in the villages, and they get a cell phone. You can speak to them from overseas or from Monrovia or from across other part of the country, right? So it's the same thing with ICT development. To be able to take a full advantage of ICT, we need infrastructure. We need broadband internet access. We need to have networking access. We need there's a lot of stuff that are involved, but the major thing we need is the broadband internet access. I know Liberia took a step towards that, and there was a West African coastal line with the fiber optic cable that I learned was completed and is ready to use. But then that's where government comes into play to create an environment where private sector businesses can step in by providing incentive to people to, because it's like in order for businesses to bring infrastructure, it's quite expensive, right? So, and they have to also make profit and make money on their businesses. So if government can step into that arena and provide incentive to people who want to work in that space, then it make it less burdensome when it comes to the financial investment into that area to be able to implement and bring about the necessary infrastructure that we will need as a nation, right? We're talking about data center, like we're talking about internet service providers, right? How do we get internet services into the hinterland, into the all part of Liberia? What means are we going to use to do that? So the infrastructure needs to be there. And if the infrastructure is not there, it's lacking, and then that is a problem, and that is what our major problem is, right? It's not just about providing the education. We can provide the education, which is good, which I know a lot of other NGOs and other businesses in Liberia are currently doing, but it's being hampered because we don't have the infrastructure in place to be able to extend and expand beyond what we're doing in Monrovia and one or two other spots. So the infrastructure development is quite important, and it's very key to be able to uh, integrate, ICT into our educational system. Because what happens if I just go and open a computer lab in let's say in Zredru, and it's just a lab that's sitting there. It doesn't have access to internet. So how do the community or the students have access to the outside world if it's just a standalone computer? I mean, you can use that fine, but there's more to ICT than just having a standalone computer. and a standard program where you use it on that system, you need to have access to vast number of resources, which we'll even dive into later on when it comes to our educational system, right? Like you can sit in the library and do research. Like you don't have to go to read hundred and thousand books. You can have access to medical journals. You can have access to like technology journals. You can have access to scholarly materials. I mean, from all around the world. So there's a reservoir of knowledge and data and information that is available. But because we don't have the infrastructure in our location, we cannot access those informations. So if we have access to our infrastructure, is up and running, and that's where the government comes in to create that environment where we can have our infrastructure can be built up to a level that we all can be able to have access to technology and an ICT within our different sectors of our economy.
That's a very good point that you struck, Mr. Gondo. Where we expect the stakeholders to actually step in and help with that. But the question here is, do we even know the benefits of
Hmm.
of technology in our setting? Do we even understand that with with technology being accessible, it creates job that will lessen the burden on the country? Do we even understand that? With that being said, I want us to dive a little bit into the benefit of technology in our society. Mr. Johnson, I want to come to you. What are some of the benefits of technology in our society, in our educational sector, in our day-to-day life? How is technology able to employ people? How is technology able to, lessen the burden on the government? How is technology capable of, reducing poverty in Liberia in particular? You are muted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. So I want to look at the benefit of technology in education. Preferably, I want to limit it to education.
Right.
One of the things that technology does is that it enhances accessibility and inclusivity. That is, technology enhances accessibility by breaking down geographical barriers and making education available to a wider range of learners. When you use technology in education, it reach wider, it reach a huge audience. There is no geographical barriers. That is to say, you can stay here in Monrovia and you can study something in Nimba. People can stay in Nima and learn something in China or learn something in any part of the world. So, enhancing accessibility, there is no geographical barriers. Another thing is that we look at the development and the future of ready skills. With technology, you can learn just about anything. Okay, you can use the space and learn just about anything at your own pace. These are some of the benefits it comes with. You can use the space, you learn just about anything you want to learn. Another thing is that look at the issue of engagement and motivation. Once you use technology, you get motivated because there are so many tools, so many graphics, so many media options, and you can also engage with other people. There's collaboration. There's something called collaboration and communication. With technology, there is engagement, collaboration, and motivation. Another thing is that
He went out for a minute,
All right.
so
All right. I think Mr. Johnson went out. But if I'm to just follow the point that Mr. Johnson was making, one of the roles that
driven, enhance engagement, and so forth. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, go on, sir. still there?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are here.
Yeah. So like I was saying, the benefits are enormous. Like one of the things technology does, unlike traditional form of learning, recently if the world was faced with COVID, all right, and traditional learning just couldn't help because people were distancing from each other. So with technology, people were able to learn while the world was locked down. We have access to so many learning platforms, like we said, and with the issue of the Khan Academy, Coursera, you could say it, even though there was pandemic, you could say that the comfort of your home, once you have internet access, you can learn just about anything. So students were still learning during pandemic time. So there are so much benefit as we look at technology in education.
So Mr. Johnson, you are saying that in Liberia, if we do have the right infrastructure, I'm able to sit down in Sanikore and take a course at the University of Liberia, which going to lessen the burden of transportation from Sanikore to Monrovia. And you are saying
Sure.
that with the right infrastructure, the University of Liberia is capable of putting out, if it was supposed to be 200 students in a graduation cycle, we are able to put on more than 200 because you have people sitting in the comfort of their homes and still taking the same course as though they were in person. Is that right?
Sure. Sure. So with technology, there is convenience in learning. You have convenience because you learn at your own pace. All right. You learn at your own pace. Look, a geographical barrier is not an issue. So, if possible, somebody in Santa Cruz want to go to university or library, but because we don't have no online platform, you have to number one move from Santa Cruz to come to Moravia. Coming to Moravia, if you don't have a family to host you, it becomes a challenge. But if we
Yeah.
had an e-learning platform at University of Liberia, then I can sit right in Santa Cruz, register all my courses, do all my study online at my own pace, and I can still have access to quality education. So convenience is there. Geographical location, geographical barrier is not a problem. But once you don't have the tools you're talking about, the infrastructure, we have challenge with infrastructure. Another thing we have challenge with is the issue of cost. The cost of technology is high in Liberia. Besides having, besides the infrastructure issue, cost is a serious challenge. So with technology, you can learn just about anything, anywhere, and at your own pace. That's the point I will make it.
That's great. So we see that technology has a serious impact on education. I want to drift away a little bit from education because not everybody wanting to jump in that educational space. I want to come to the market space, right? That would be for you, Sister Grace. What impact?
Okay. Thank
What what impact do you think that technology is capable of making on our marketing in Liberia? Because I mean, obviously, I got my grandmom who, if you talk about education, she didn't get time, but she still do sell her beta and everything. And now we here talking about technology. What is important? What do you think that my grandma will get from this thing? Like discussing technology, is it really important to her?
Okay. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, you on?
Thank you. Technology does not discriminate whether you are educated or uneducated, disabled or able. Technology does not discriminate. So, as disabled person or uneducated person who is into business, you use the internet. If you are not able to travel long distance from Sano to Monrovia, you can use the internet, post your goods or services that you are providing online. Even if you don't have access to the internet, but you can have a mediator, someone who has access to the internet to pass your goods or your services that you are rendering through, and that person can make it new or showcase it to on the internet, and others can see and buy, and there you can go ahead with your business.
That's a strategic point. Because I tell you today, right? I live in the United States of America, but I can safely tell you that most of the transactions today is being done by factories in China, in Asia. They sit over there and sell. Most of the products are being sold here in the US. They are not here, but they're still selling their products here. Everything you order when you go lawyer from Beijing, from somewhere in Japan, but people still selling. And come to think about it, that income is going to their countries, right? So let's say if like just to your point, if someone was in Bomikande and they are able to sell their products in Monrovia, obviously that income is going to them in Bomikande. Once we have the right infrastructure, once we have everything that is needed to make these things to go on smooth, I think it will make life easy. Mr. When I want to come to you,
Yeah.
let us talk about. I want you to like elaborate a little bit on technology in development. How is technology capable of bringing in development? If you have any example of any country, how what impact technology made on some country in what we're talking about, that developmental process. So what are some of the roadmap of technology in development?
Yeah, that's a very great, very very great question, and it a lot of great examples of countries around the world, and one of them we can point to that everybody knows is India. India, I will say they were very intentional when the era of ICT of technology, when that era came to the forefront or the limelight. India was very intentional about not being left behind, about using technology as an engine of growth and development for its nation. So India established different institutions. The government, like established the National India Institute of Technology, and they aggressively pursue ICT and technology in different spheres and different domains. And what that did was that if you look around the world today, I would say I might be over, speaking about might be 60% or 50% of the IT workforce making like good money, and businesses are based in India. And what that does, it bring in foreign direct investment. So if you have people who have learned ICT to its highest level, and are engineers, programmers, database designers, and they are developing different systems and different software programs for businesses to use, because the world today runs, every business runs on ICT. They runs on computer software. It's a computer system that's running everything. So you have engineers designing the networking system that the businesses, corporations are using, and you have engineers designing the computer softwares. Those are very expensive venture. If you in those industries and those places, you definitely understand that. And India has been at the forefront of that. And so what that did for them was that it gave them a foreign direct investment, and it helped them to export human capital of the human resources, and then also it helped them to import their product, because they got companies in India that just they already develop software for businesses around the world, and that brings a lot of foreign direct investment, as I said. So and then that helps to transform our economy, right? Because it's bringing in money, and then that money will be invested. People will buy, because the development comes when people have money to spend.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. If we don't have money to spend, we're not going to develop. We can't do anything. But if I have the money to spend, then I can buy from your shop, and you can improve your business. You can start to scale up. If more people start to have money to buy from your shop or your store, then you begin to scale up your business and begin to improve the services that you offer to people. But a whole week, 2 weeks, 3 months, if you got a store and then 5 people walking a whole month, how can you scale up your business? You're not going to scale up your business.
Yeah.
And that's because we don't have enough money flowing around in the system or in the society that people can use to spend. And why do you think, we haven't talked about it, but why do you think, it's just a little example, why do you think the US input would allow a lot of immigrants into America? The spending power. People get jobs. You got to buy cars. You got to buy food. You got to buy clothes. You got to buy everything. Like, and you need internet access. You need this. So you got to pay for all the services, right? So the more people you have buying these things, the better it is for businesses.
Right.
And that's how the more money comes into our economy. And India, within the ICT service industry, they make billions a year go to India with the IT service in the IT services industry, because they provide a lot of IT services to the world through computer software, through engineering, and through different kind of computer activities. So yes, ICT is intricately linked to our development. It helps to bring development to a country. And even if we are not exporting our computer software and engineering and the rest of the stuff, right? Let's assume a business, right? We have the market. There are 5.2 million people in Liberia. If you have your store in Monrovia selling your African shirts, right? How many people do you sell it to? Just to put in Monrovia or to put in your community? A few thousand people. But let's assume we have the infrastructure in Liberia that we are able, right, to have a system where a tailor in Monrovia or a business lady, man, woman, whoever it is, girl in Monrovia has a shop that's online and can sell their product, and everyone in Nima County, in Grangel, in Sano can access his or her website, displaying his product for sale. And we have a network of businesses like shipping people, delivery people, everybody involved in that circle, taking his product and someone in Maryland buying his share in Monrovia, and then you have a shipping company that transport that to deliver that to that person in Maryland. So now instead of having 500 people or 200 people as a customer base, he has access to 5.2 million people. Or let's say, because we have women and we got children involved now. So let's say 3 million people, right? So now your business have access to 3 million people. Assume out of those 3 million people, 200,000 people in Liberia will buy your shirt or will buy an item from your store. That is a lot of income. And then he can employ more people in his businesses, can employ more tailors and more centrists to be able to, expand his business. So it brings about national development.
Right.
So that is why we have to be intentional. Even if we are not exporting like as IT services, but just for our own good, for capitalizing on the market that we have. We have a huge market. 3 million people, a lot of people.
Right.
That you can sell your cassava to, you can sell your plantain to, you can sell potato greens to, you can sell your slippers to, you can sell your chain to. Like, we have people making great jewelries in Liberia. Like, those guys make great jewelries. But who does sell it to? What's the market? How many people have access to those things in Liberia? But there's someone in Maryland who want to have access, who want to buy that jewelry, but they can't get it because there's no way. We cannot sell to them. But with technology, ICT enable us and give us that platform and that leverage to reach more people and more population. And the more people and population you reach as a business, the more income, the more revenue that you generate for your business. And that's how it works. And then if you can extend that beyond Liberia into West Africa, and look at the West African market, it's huge. Millions and millions of people in West Africa. But can we sell to Nigeria? No. Can Nigeria sell to? Oh, yeah, we know that there are a few people who go to Nigeria and buy groups and bring it, but that's not enough. Like, that's not enough. If you can open that market where our infrastructure is well developed, and then we're beginning to market our product and produce to the entire sub-region, development comes, because we're generating revenue. And as we generate revenue, government collect taxes on those revenues, and government can use those taxes to develop your roads, bring water, bring electricity, and bring other stuff. So ICT is linked to development. There's no way you can separate that in this day and age.
That's the brilliant point. Brilliant point there. I think you nailed it. Mr. Johnson, I saw you like kind of nodding your head. Is that something you want to add to that? You are muted, sir.
So, like I think Tozi said it all. Technology is equal to development. Any country that takes technology seriously, that country improve and develop rapidly. If we look at countries around, even our neighbors, like recently, what is happening within the educational sector in Liberia? Few of the schools, now not most of them, few of the schools they are moving on to educational apps where they move the administrative aspect of running their schools to technology. That burden of enrolling students,
Right.
doing attendance, grade sheet, and all this stuff, they are incorporating educational app, edtech into their system so they can focus more on managing the student effectively. So any country that takes technology seriously improve rapidly. That's just what I just want to add. Technology is it. It is that engine that makes both the public and private sector work effectively.
Great. I'm going to come to you in a second here, Sister Grace. I want to go back to Mr. Gono. Mr. Gono, I see that you got tons low of ideas. I mean, yeah, I see your passion. You really want to move. I see you are doing great things, and you being the one of the founders of Rethink Tech. I want to also go back to Rethink Tech a little bit, and I understand that you are doing few things in Ima County. My first question here would be: are you thinking about spreading Rethink